Hey there, welcome to this video. This is Santosh. We are talking about web development and how to be a web developer. Welcome to a Learn Tech. Before I start the video, I request you to subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon so that you get notifications. Please go ahead and share these videos with your friends so that it helps them out. These are free tutorials. Let's get started. In the first video, I summarized what HTML, CSS, and JavaScript do. In the second video, I created a simple web page, which is this, and showed you how you can use all the elements such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript uh, that we have learned to create and add dynamicity to the web page, right? For example, when we clicked on the button, the content changes. I told you how to make changes to it. So all the code that we have learned till now, everything that we have learned is accessible in the blog post. The link is in the URL. Let's look at the technology stack now. So we already know that web development has three different things, right? There is front end, there is back end, and there is full stack. So let's look at the front end technologies. What all front end technologies include? It includes HTML that we already saw an example. We already saw an example for CSS. We already saw an example for JavaScript, right? And it includes frameworks. We will discuss frameworks in a different video because it's a huge topic. These tutorials are for beginners, and that's all I can say. And the backend technologies are also involved when you want to become a web developer. What are the backend technologies? Programming languages. We will make videos on these, so don't worry. And we will also make videos on frameworks a little later and databases a little later. So backend technologies include programming languages, frameworks, and databases. Programming languages such as JavaScript for simple activities, Python for advanced activities, PHP for advanced activities, Ruby for intermediate activities, and Java for advanced activities as well, right? So these are the technologies that you use in web development. When you want to become a web developer, you need to know all these things. And lastly, you consume APIs. Some of them are called as RESTful APIs and some of them are called as Graph APIs. We can make videos on these a little later, but these are the technologies involved. And we also need to know a few tools which can help us develop code efficiently. So these include text editors and IDEs. These include version control. These include package managers. These include build tools as well. So what is version control? It is a system used to track changes. Whenever you make a change to your code, right, it records it. That is called as version control. And why that is done? That is done because many other people are working with you on the particular application. Suppose you are working on a big application. Others should see what change you have made. They can approve it, they can make changes, they can suggest changes, they can add comments, so on and so forth. That is why we use version control. Then we have text editors and IDEs. Why are text editors and IDEs used? To fasten the process of development. For example, for a simple website that we created, which is this, we use Notepad directly, and we created this particular file. It was under 10 minutes. But if you want to go ahead and create it under 5 minutes, you might use something called as Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, Atom, which are specifically used for writing and editing code, right? This is called as a text editor. Notepad is called as a text editor. But for coding, we use something called as IDEs, which is nothing but integrated development environments, which have a lot of features when compared to the text editors. Then we have package managers. Package managers are used to manage the dependencies. For example, you can see that we wrote a function over here. This function particularly finds the element by the ID called as a message, which is defined over here for the paragraph, and it changes the text content inside it to you click the button, right? Um, Many people would have developed many different functions for many different activities. So what happens is they go ahead and pack them using something called as node, and they give it to the other people, and they call them libraries. and various libraries. For example, here we are doing a simple task, which is to change the text, right? So we haven't used any dependency for this because this can be done by the JavaScript itself. But suppose you are doing a complex application, for example, let's assume that you are interacting with the artificial intelligence, then you need various dependencies. Those dependencies can be quickly managed using something called as package managers. That is why you use package managers such as Node Package Manager to go ahead and hasten the development time as well again. Now, lastly, there are build tools such as Webpack, Gulp, Grunt. What these do is these automate the tasks such as code compilation and optimization. For example, they make the code smaller, they prettify it, they use pretty extensions, they use automations to create the CSS when different things are done. So, with that being said, let's get started. The first thing is you need to know how to install the editor. Installing the editor is pretty simple. You just click on the link. What that does is it takes you to the website, which is code.visualstudio.com. This is how you go ahead and download the Visual Studio. So what you do, you just click on it, download for Windows or download for any other operating system that you are using. But mostly everyone over here is using Windows. So as you can see, these are some of the features. As I discussed, they provide code completion. Uh, they provide debugging interface. They provide editing features, as I rightly said. They help you with code navigation and refactoring. And lastly, they help you with the Git integrations, for example, SCM control, which is nothing but source control manager, I believe. Right? SCM is Source Control Manager. So once the Visual Studio Code is downloaded, you click on it or go to the place where you have downloaded it and it will open the installer. Click on ISF, next, 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 create a desktop icon, add open with code, action to Windows Explorer file context menu, add open with code action to Windows Explorer directory context menu. Ensure that all these are checked and click on next, next, and install. So what that does is it installs something called as Visual Studio Code, which is an editor. Very good. Now the second thing that we need to download is something called as Git. So you can access that again at git-scm.com. So again, click on download for Windows over here, and it will ask you, it will automatically detect the version of the Windows. Mine is 64-bit. So just wait for it. If it doesn't detect, just click on that link and it will download the SCM as well. The last one is downloading the NPM. So this is how you go ahead and start downloading all the files. Click on download, and as you can see, it has started downloading everything that is needed. So guys, because we are discussing installation, this video might be about 20 minutes. So bear with me. So install Git, click on it again. So to discuss the features of the Git, you can see about and you can read through. Okay. So branching, creating branches, merging branches, creating roles, workflows, so on and so forth. I will teach you the bare basics. Don't worry. So as you can see, this is Node. We have downloaded this as well. So click on next to install the Git. Click on next. So over here again, additional icons. I want these icons, so I put a check mark over there. So over here, add Git bash profile to Windows Terminal. I want it added. I wanted to check the daily updates as well in my case. So click on next, and over here you can specify the default editor. I will say use Visual Studio Code Insiders as Git default editor. I will select the third option, which is use Visual Studio Code as Git's default editor because we downloaded and installed the Visual Studio Code. Click on next. So let's get decide Git from command line and also from third-party software. Let this be selected. Click on next. OpenSSH bundle is required. I don't want to use the external SSH provider. I wanted to use or install OpenSSL library. I wanted to have the checkout with Windows style. I want main TTY. I want fast forward or merge. I want get credential managers so that I can log in and log out. I wanted to cache files so that it becomes fast, and I wanted to create symbolic links as well. So over here, I don't want these experimental features, uh, but I would like to try them, quite frankly. This is something new that they have added. I would like to try them. So if you don't want, you can uncheck those, the last one. So this is how you install Git, guys, by the way. So hopefully this was easy. You click on these, you download these, you install these. The third installation that we have to do is after this completes, I will show you how to install Node.js, which we have already downloaded. So these things take a little bit of time depending on the speed of your computer and internet connection. All right. So once this is done, I will show you how you can have to log on and do a lot of things. I will also launch over here. I don't want to see the release notes at the moment. So that is how your Git looks. All right. So Git is installed. The third one is Node. Over here, as you can see, that is the Node package manager that we downloaded. So that should be in the downloads folder. And I will right click on it. I will say open with, I'm sorry, I will say extract all. And I will say show extracted files when complete. So what that does is, as you can see, it was a small file of 100 MB, and when it is uncompressed, it becomes about 412 MB. So let's give it some time because we will not directly start working on Node. Let it do that in the background. Let it extract in the background. And while that is being done, I will teach you how to use these tools. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to create a new project. Open your terminal and you will create a project called as we are developing a web application, guys, right? In this process, we are creating a new project and developing a web application. I'll show you how. Go to the Git, and the first thing that you need to do here is I haven't written this on the article, but you need to change it to D, um, right? And you can just say PWD, present working directory. It is C users. So let's go to CDD PWD, present working directory. So let's clear. Uh, I want to switch the directories. Let's go to the folder. Let's see what we have here. So I will close this, guys. I'll show you how you need to do this correctly. For example, you should go inside the folder where you have the files, and over here you will open the terminal. Basically, this is what you do. What this does is it takes you right to the place where you want to create the file. So what we are doing, mkdir my first web app. So we are creating a directory called as my first web app, and what it did is it created that directory. So hope that was simple. Cool. So let's close this. And the second command that we will be using is we will go inside that directory, cd. What that will do is it will go inside the directory. So now if we do pwd, it says my first web app, which means we are inside that directory. That is the path to the directory. So the last command, I mean the fifth command that we are using is git init. What this does is it initialize the repository for the Git, right? Git is installed. And now as you can see, it says initialize the empty Git repository in the programming HTML file, my first web app dot Git.